You walked into Jungkook's big office building. Your heels were making a sharp sound on the shiny marble floor. The moment you stepped inside, people started whispering, their heads turned as they watched you walk towards the CEO's office. It has been weeks since you last visited Jungkook at work. Pregnancy has made you feel tired all the time, but today you decided to surprise him. You gently placed a hand on your small baby bump, feeling a wave of excitement. The entire office erupted in excitement. She's here. Oh my god, Mrs. John. It's been so long. You smug as employees rushed over. Their faces were beaming with joy. You weren't just Jungkook's wife, you were a legend in this office. They called you Mrs. John, but you were more than that. You had built connections, earned respect, and let's be real, this place was yours just as much as it was Jungkook's. Mrs. John, it's been months. One of the newer interns, Jisoo, practically jumped in excitement. You flashed a warm smile, playfully patting her shoulder. I know, I know. Did you all behave while I was away? Not really. Max, one of the senior managers, joked. Mr. John was miserable without you. A chorus of agreement followed. Is that so? You hum, pretending to think. I should stay away more often then. They gasped dramatically. No way, we need you here. You laughed, enjoying the attention. Okay, guys, I won't disturb much. Pay attention to your work and also health as well, okay? Saying that, you walked towards Jungkook's office smiling. Did you guys notice? She's glowing even more, she said, looking at everyone. And I think we are going to receive a good news soon. Don't you see, she has gained a little bit of weight, and I'm sure little John is on the way. They looked at her surprised. How are you so sure? She shrugged her shoulders. I just know. I have seen a baby picture in Mr. John's PC as a wallpaper. Everyone got excited. It's been weeks since you last visited, and today you are in the mood to check what kind of employees your husband has been hiring, especially his secretary. You have heard whispers about her that she acts a little too familiar with Jungkook, carries herself with a little too much entitlement, and if there's one thing you hate, it's someone overstepping their place. As you reach his office, the woman in question steps in front of you, blocking your way. Excuse me, but do you have an appointment? She asked. Her voice was dripping with superiority. You raised an eyebrow, looking her up and down. This was the first time Jungkook had hired a female secretary, and for the first time you were questioning your husband's choices. Or maybe he was not seeing what his wife could. Do I need one? Her lips curled in distaste as she looked you up and down. Everyone does. Mr. John is an extremely busy man, and he doesn't entertain. She paused, her gaze turning sharp, random woman looking for his attention. You tilted your head, amused. Attention? She crossed her arms, shifting her weight like she owns the place. I've seen so many desperate women like you trying to get close to him. Do you really think Mr. John has time for attention-seeking women like you? You bit back a smirk. Oh, this is going to be fun. So you think I'm after his attention? You asked, feigning curiosity. She scoffed. Isn't it obvious? Women throw themselves at him all the time, thinking they stand a chance. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. You pretended to consider her words. And you must be very important, huh? A smug smile spread across her face. Of course, I'm his secretary. I handles his schedules, his meetings, his work. I'm always by his side. She flickered her head dramatically. If anyone knows what kind of woman he prefers, it's me. So tell me, you continued playing along. What kind of woman does he like? She straightened proudly. Certainly not women like you. You chuckled darkly. And what kind am I? She narrowed her eyes. The clingy, desperate type. The one who thinks being pretty is enough to get his attention. Newsflash, honey. Mr. John is way out of your league. You placed a hand over your stomach protectively, internally rolling your eyes. Oh, sweetheart, if only you knew whose child I'm carrying. Still, you decided to push her further. You seem quite invested in his love life. Why is that? You are just a secretary and not his girlfriend, am I right? She stiffened for a second before regaining her composure. Because I care about him, unlike you, he's probably here to cause drama. You leaned in slightly, lowering your voice. You like him, don't you? Her expression faltered, and you could see right through her and already made a decision to get her fired because her intentions weren't good towards Jungkook. What? You have feelings for him, you said, watching as she panicked for a split second before masking it with irritation. That's none of your business. You smile. That's why you're acting like this. You think you're the only woman worthy of standing beside him, don't you? Her lips pressed into a thin line. I'm the only woman who understands him. You mean you're the only woman who wishes he saw you? You corrected, watching as her anger boiled over, and she just reacted without thinking twice. You little. The impact echoed through the office floor. A collective gasp rose from the employees nearby. You slowly turned your head back to her, face her, the sting on your cheek burning, but your pride untouched. She looked horrified at what she just did, but the satisfaction in her eyes betrayed her. She thought she put you in your place. You exhaled sharply, rolling your jaw. That was a mistake you'll pay a heavy price for. Her eyes narrowed in confusion before she could even process her doom. A dangerously low voice rumbled from behind. What the hell did you just do? Jungkook just opened the door to his office, hearing the chaos, but the sight he encountered left him in anger. He can't even bear someone eye his wife in the other way, let alone she just slapped you. The secretary spun around, her face turned pale as she locked eyes with Jungkook. He stood there dressed in his usual sharp suit, radiating dominance and fury. His dark eyes weren't on her, though. They were on you, filled with something far more dangerous than anger. You, his wife, the woman he loved. His jaw tightened as he stepped closer, his hand reaching out to gently brush his thumb over the red mark on your cheek. His touch was soft, but his eyes burned with cold fury. What just happened here? Did she just... You didn't answer. You didn't need to. The secretary, realizing the weight of her mistake, immediately started panicking. Sir, she was causing trouble, forcefully trying to get in your office, and she was trying to get close to you. And I was just... Shut up, he growled, looking at her in anger. The entire floor fell silent, the air turned suffocating. Jungkook's gaze slowly shifted to her and she visibly flinched. Do you even realize what you just did? His voice was dangerously low. I thought she was just another what? His tone sharpened, the secretary hesitated. Another desperate woman trying to get your attention, she said, looking down, and Jungkook was speechless, his jaw clenched. What? Are you out of your mind? She's my wife, the woman who has all my attention. She doesn't need it. She swallowed hard, not answering. You let out a dry chuckle, tilting your head. Your secretary is so concerned about who go in and out, John. Good to see that she keeps all the unnecessary attentions away from you. She lifted her head to look at you as your voice was dripping with sarcasm. You had the nerve to touch my wife and speak to her like that? His voice dripped with venom. Tell me, do you have a death wish? You stepped in, placing a hand on Jungkook's arm, your expression calm but cold. Baby, relax. You said sweetly, but there was a sharp edge to your voice. She didn't know. She was too busy acting like she owns the place to ask. Jungkook's jaw tightened, but you weren't done yet. You turned to the secretary, who was trembling. I asked you something. Do women come and go in this office just like that to get his attention? So you assumed I was one of them? She lowered her head and shook in denial. No, there's no one. Then how did you assume I came here to get his attention, or were you trying to make you present like you are so close to him? She remained frozen, guilt written all over her face. I'm sorry, ma'am. Jungkook let out a dry chuckle. You embarrassed me in front of my wife, and the audacity you have shown, you are doomed. Her eyes widened, knowing she lost this job. You placed a hand on your stomach, your smirk widening. And here's something you didn't know about me. The secretary's eyes flickered to your hand. I'm also carrying his child. You revealed, gasps echoed around the office. Jungkook's expression hardened even more. His eyes flickered to your stomach, then back to the secretary. His fury deepened. You put your hands on my pregnant wife. I didn't know. And what if she fell? Jungkook's voice dropped to a chilling whisper. What if something happened to her or our baby because of your stupidity? The secretary's face drained completely. Sir, please. You are fired, you said before Jungkook could. Everyone's eyes snapped to you. Jungkook remained calm. He never doubted decision because he know you know better, at least in cases like these. The secretary dropped to her knees. Ma'am, please. You touched me, you disrespected me, you ignored your actual job to play gatekeeper, and you think I would let that slide? Jungkook smirked slightly, watching you handle the situation. Security, you called out, and two guards immediately stepped forward. Escort her out. Wait, sir, ma'am, please, I'll do anything, she cried. Jungkook didn't even spare her a glance. Get her out of my building, he ordered. Security grabbed her arms and dragged her away as she sobbed. As soon as she was gone, Jungkook turned back to you, his hands cupping your face gently. Are you okay, love? You smirked, running a hand through his hair. Do I look like someone who can't handle a jealous woman? He chuckled, pressing a kiss to your forehead. No, you don't, but no one touched you and walked away unharmed. You leaned in, whispering against his lips. That's why I married you. But then you pulled back, your expression shifting into something he knew all too well. That look, the one that told him he had messed up. Jungkook's smirk faltered as you crossed your arms, your voice sharp yet calm. But this time you really disappointed me, Jungkook. His brows furrowed. Baby, if I hadn't come here today, I wouldn't have known what kind of woman is sticking to you as your secretary. Your eyes bore into his. Do you even realize how humiliating that is, watching someone like her act as if she has some kind of claim over you? Jungkook's jaw tightened, regret flickering in his dark eyes. He took a deep breath before stepping closer, cupping your cheeks. I'm sorry, baby. It was a rushed hiring. I didn't look into her properly. That was my mistake. You raised a brow, crossing your arms. You better be careful in such matters, Sean. Just because your intentions are pure doesn't mean the other person won't try to take advantage of you. Jungkook exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck. I know, baby, I should have been more careful. You let out a small scoff, tilting your head. Should have? Jungkook, you're the CEO of this company. You don't get to should have. You make sure it never happens in the first place. Jungkook pressed his lips together, nodding. You are right, I messed up, but I promise I'll be more cautious from now on. You held his gaze for a long moment before sighing. You better be. His hand reached out, brushing over your barely noticeable baby bump. His eyes softened instantly. I won't just protect you, I'll protect our family. Your lips twitched slightly, but you still had one last thing to say. Good, because if something like this happens again, I won't just fire your secretary, I'll fire you too. Jungkook chuckled, shaking his head. You really are my wife. Before you could reply, he pulled you into a deep, warm kiss, one that left no room for doubts. And at that moment, everyone in the office learned a new rule. John Jungkook belonged to one woman and one woman only.